did. But did you guys believe me? You guys probably did that. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys knew for sure be coming back, but it is the ringside hangout. What is up, everyone? How y'all doing on this wonderful evening? We just talked to y'all a few minutes ago. We're doing the chat back. Well, the Triple Those pre-show. That's actually it's all my own show. But the thing is, though, guys, we were hanging out with you guys, talking about some comic book stuff, talking about some video game stuff, talking about tons of things. But now we have a whole section just for the wrestling. We are here. It is the ringside hangout. What is up, everybody? How y'all doing? I am so hyped to actually talk about WWE Raw tonight because this is the shit that I actually know what the fuck's going on. I actually know not the topics, but necessarily, like, I know the storylines. I've been following this stuff even outside the show for a very, very long time. And we're going to get right into it, folks. I might be joined by my boy, Hovig Jarkezian. That'd be cool as shit if he comes up in here. But I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be happening. I'm going to actually double check something really quick. I'm going to see if he's showing up. I'm going to take a little drinkity drink of my Wawa. But here's the thing, though, guys. I am curious to see if you guys actually enjoyed the show. The big storyline that's kind of revolving around the entire show, especially considering the beginning of the show with Randy Orton being all burnt up in his face and talking to the camera, doing literally nothing. It's actually running around her. Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss right now, if you guys don't know, she's actually connected with Randy Orton in a particular storyline. Basically, what her whole thing is she's I don't know if she's really like in love with the Fiend, but she, her whole character and persona is actually being controlled by the Fiend, aka Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt was set upon flames from Randy Orton a few weeks ago at the last pay-per-view. And because of that, she was like, burn me alive, I can't live without fucking the Fiend, I can't take this no more. So she's like, you burn me alive then, Mr. Orton. And he does. He literally burns her alive. I was surprised. I don't know why he burned her alive. It made no fucking sense to me. Really quick, I guess the chat's not working. Let me click on this again. Okay, now it's working. Yay, it's working. Look at that shit. Thank you, Ryan, for coming over here and double checking, man. Really appreciate it, dude. I don't know what's up with Streamlabs. It doesn't update because it's poopy. It's poopy of the juice. I don't like that stuff. But the thing is, though, guys, going back to this whole storyline, that's the wrong fucking page. Here we are. Anyways, the big thing that's happening with Asuka here is that she's been kind of like beating off and Asuka's the one on the left, Alexa Bliss is the person on the right. And Asuka, being on the left over there, she's the current WWE Raw Women's Champion. She's been knocking out all these girls. Every single girl that comes up to the fucking base, she knocks them out of the park or whatever. Whatever baseball metaphor that can possibly come up with, pulling directly out of my ass. The thing is, though, is that Asuka's here, and she's looking at Alexa Bliss, and she actually is a fan of Alexa Bliss. She comes out to the ring, laughing at her and stuff, going like, oh, I'm such a fan of you, it's so silly, like, let's do a little dance, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. And Alexa Bliss is kind of being playful, too, because she doesn't see any immediate threat, and that's the thing that's kind of creepy about Alexa Bliss, is that she's a very playful, she acts like she's a little girl. You know what I mean? And it kind of makes things seem a little weird sometimes, because you've seen adult women act like little children. But at the same time, it's like, holy shit, like, there's something about to happen here. The tension's starting to rise because these two are starting to become a little bit too playful to the point where now they're starting to get on each other's nerves. Where Alexa Bliss tells Asuka, shut up, stop fucking playing with me. Like, she's literally getting mad. And you find out later on, these two have a match with each other. So no matter what, physically, there's going to be some kind of altercation between these two. Especially considering that Alexa Bliss just told her, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble. And for those of you who don't know wrestling a whole lot, Royal Rumble is a show where there's 30 people fighting in one match. And they come out in piecemeal, but the person who wins the match goes on to WrestleMania, the biggest event of the WWE year, and they go against, the champion. And it's a free match. You don't have to earn it. You just win the Royal Rumble match, and you get your, guaranteed shot at the WrestleMania main event fighting the champion. And Alexa Bliss is like, yeah, I'm going to do that shit. And it's pretty interesting to see, like, okay, well, what's going to be happening now? I mean, like, Alexa Bliss doesn't wrestle a whole lot nowadays. She's usually creeping out dudes. She's usually creeping out Randy Orton. And now we got this thing going on. And no matter what Alexa Bliss does, it's somehow connected at all times with Bray Wyatt. And that's where shit can be very, very interesting. Now, if you guys don't remember last week, I was talking about this. Randy Orton, right over here. Let me see. I'm going to post this in a different thing because someone's being a pervert over there in Google Images. But yeah, dude, she actually pulled out her hand and shot a fireball directly into this dude's fucking face. It was some comic book shit. It was ridiculous. just shot a fireball right in his face. He fell down. He oversold the fuck out of it. He's like, oh god, oh I'm on fire, blah blah. And it gets to a point now, guys, where he's freaking out so much over this fire, and it was so intense, this fire, that we start to show up today, and he's doing a promo about Alexa Bliss and the Fiend. Now, here's the thing, though, man. I like wrestling. I like the idea of kayfabe. I like the idea of people staying within character because it is wrestling. You gotta take the shit seriously. You're trying to sell a pay-per-view. I get it. But if someone blew my face up, I wouldn't put a fucking mask on and then come on here and start talking about, I will see you at the Royal Rumble. I'm gonna win the match and become World Heavyweight Champion. Why is that a discussion? Why do you give a fuck about being champion? You literally had someone shoot a fireball into your face. Like, does that not sound odd to anybody else here? Like, what the fuck is that? You literally got someone shooting a fucking like Street Fighter projectile move onto your fucking face, and yet you're still upset about wanting to be a champion? Get the fuck out of here! Like, that's ridiculous, dude. So the fact that happened there, I was laughing. You know, that was kind of stupid. And the show starts off with that. So I'm like, okay, like I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen next. But then, we get into some shit that's really interesting. Ric Flair is still being fucking just typical ass Ric Flair. So Lacey Evans last week, you know, she had a match with his daughter, which was Charlotte Flair, and he came out and actually helped her with the match. He actually came out and tripped Charlotte Flair. Lacey Evans won the match. But right after this whole Randy Orton bit that I just talked about a couple of seconds ago, we get to go backstage and see Ric Flair and Lacey Evans coming into the arena, just hugging on each other, talking about like, oh, he's teaching me every dirty move in the game because he's the most dirtiest player in the world. And it's like, dude, like, is no one going to talk about how fucking weird it is that this dude's like 1,000 years old with this fucking young girl? Like, I mean, she's not super fucking young, but I mean, she carries herself young enough, and I find this to be kind of strange. And then I'm like, well, where's this going to go with Charlotte Flair, too? She's going to be that jealous that her dad's fucking somebody? That's ridiculous. Here it is right here, by the way, and this is how it starts off. You know, it was kind of ridiculous, man. And I don't really like Lacey Evans at all, but this is definitely not going to win anybody else over. I can tell you that fucking much. No way in hell. No way. You know? But moving on, because it's going to be a pretty short show, guys. I know lots of you guys are asleep right now. I'm not going to make this last a long time talking to you guys about the wrestling. But we got to talk about The Miz and Morrison. Now, The Miz and John Morrison, they're annoying. There's no other way to put it, dude. They're really, really fucking annoying. I cannot stand these guys. If you guys don't know, The Miz actually has his own show on the USA Network called Miz and Mrs., and he's doing his whole reality show shit because the way he got started in the wrestling business is by doing the Real World. So, you know, doing reality show stuff is really not this guy's like non-forte. This is something he does all the time, and that's why he's been so hated. But John Morrison, the guy right next to him, who's basically just a wannabe Jim Morrison, that's what they called him, John Morrison. You know, this guy is actually an incredible fucking athlete who's done a ton of stuff. And for some particular reason, they have him, you know, linked up with Miz because they used to be a tag team fucking 12 years ago. And now we're in a situation where John Morrison is constantly messing up the Miz's plans to become champion. And they have these really silly skits where they argue back and forth in the ring or backstage or whatever the case may be. And today, they do this, and they do this fucking like in-ring segment called the Dirt Sheet, where basically they sit down, they talk to wrestlers, and they just stir shit up. They just start fights. And it usually helps lots of rivalries that need the help. But today, the help we got, it was for something we don't really need any help for. It's Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. You know, we already had a conversation with them 2 weeks ago. Last week, they couldn't have another conversation because Drew McIntyre is sick with the COVID-19. It's going to be until tomorrow, not tomorrow, next week, next Monday, Drew McIntyre is going to be returning. But the thing is, though, is that you look at some of these things, and like Drew McIntyre, I'm going to bring this up really quick. Drew McIntyre and Goldberg, this match, once again, does not need a whole ton of, a ton of discussion. And I mean, it's just like, yo, like, once upon a time, two bad motherfuckers are going to go at it. The end. So explain to me why they had to pull a joke from fucking the 90s where there's this character called Gilbert, and he used to always be made fun of Goldberg because Goldberg is originally a WCW property, so WWE/WWF from back in the day would get this guy to come out to Goldberg's music and just make stupid faces and make fun of Goldberg's entrance, etc., etc. There's them side by side right there. And he showed up tonight, And it was just silly. It was just like stupid as fuck. It was doing the same joke that we've seen a million times. I mean, honestly, anyone in here who doesn't watch wrestling, you guys should probably know exactly what happened just by me, you know, fucking describing it, because like you didn't have to see it. It's like the most generic, like, oh, this guy making fun of the other guy, makes him look like a big weak dumb. Like, it's fucking stupid. So the fact that this happened, I thought was very annoying. But looking over here, man, you know, the other matches of the show and the other storylines did not have enough time to shine, I don't think. I'm loving Ricochet constantly losing. I feel like this is going to turn into him turning heel at a certain point. And heel, just so you guys not knowing, heel is bad guy in WWE term. But he's been going against this group called Retribution. It's actually 5 huge guys that Ricochet's been going back and forth. But this is Ricochet. The other guys are called Retribution. Now, he's been fighting them constantly. And tonight, they're starting to pick on a member of the New Day. And everyone, I'm going to assume, knows the New Day. Xavier Woods, who owns the channel Up, Up, Down, Down on YouTube. He was getting picked on by these guys big time. So now we know for sure that Ricochet is outside of their crosshairs. Ricochet is doing his own thing. So tonight he went against another huge superstar. This is AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles. And he's actually always been accompanied by this guy in the background called Almost. Forgot to, I don't know how to fucking say his name, right? It's Almost, something like that. The thing is, though, is like AJ Styles telling him, hey, dude, like, you're new here. You know, I've been wrestling for a very long time. I'm going to go into the Royal Rumble. You're not going to go into the Royal Rumble. Don't you even try to fuck with me. And the general manager of the show, Adam Pearce, someone who's usually on the Friday night show on SmackDown, he comes in saying, hey, dude, like, you know, you're Ricochet, you know, you're a pretty good wrestler. I'm going to have you try to beat AJ Styles. If you beat AJ Styles, you're actually entered into the Royal Rumble. And AJ Styles is upset that, you know, Ricochet is going to be entered into the Royal Rumble. The thing is, though, is that most wrestlers on the roster are always entrants into this Royal Rumble match because it's 30 people. It's not like, oh, man, I can't make it until, like, they only have room for 10 people. How am I going to get in there? It's like, it's 30 guys. That's a whole roster. Why is this a storyline? This is a stupid storyline. We know AJ Styles is going to be in the Royal Rumble. We know Ricochet is going to be in the Royal Rumble. We know all this. They're just wasting time. Like, you can tell another story about a different aspect of the life of being a wrestler or whatever the case may be. You can do shit like that. You don't have to do it through this with the Royal Rumble storyline. It's fucking stupid. So, yeah, it's very frustrating. I do not like it. I don't like the way they're wasting time with this fucking story. Because, I gotta tell you, dude, Ricochet can be fucking having way better matches than the one he had with what's his face? With AJ Styles. And AJ Styles can be having better matches with somebody else, too. So it's just silly. It's very silly. I don't like what they're doing with that. It's questionable as fuck. Very bad writing. And very simplistic because you're using a pay-per-view coming out in 2 weeks to be your foundation for stories. You don't have to do that. Come on. Fucking stupid. On the subject of that, though, the Hurt Business. I'm going to talk about these guys just for a second. Then we're going to wrap things up here. The Hurt Business. I thought there was going to be lots of discussions as far as Martin Luther King Day. You know, maybe some Black Lives Matter stuff, whatever. They didn't touch on any of it. So once, I've said this before, especially with Call of Duty, Black Lives Matter was a cool thing for people to jump on trending-wise. But I knew that WWE never really gave a shit. And as you can see, like, well, this picture is not really indicating of what happened tonight. But, you know, they're not wearing the Black Lives Matter to BLM wristbands or anything. I feel like that's kind of like, wow, like, especially during today. Probably should have had, like, Martin Luther King at least, hashtag something. They didn't have that. And then also, too, they're fighting amongst each other. So what I'm kind of seeing now is that Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, with them fighting within this group, they're the two guys in the middle, by the way, there. If they're fighting within this group, and this group has only been going on for probably about, like, close to a year now, that would indicate that these guys are about to break up. So already, you guys are about to break these guys up? Because Royal Rumble is usually the day, usually the night, where lots of people do break up because everyone's trying to become that one person who wins the 30-man fucking Royal Rumble to fight the champion in WrestleMania. So it usually makes sense that people would kind of like backstab each other. But I'm looking at this, though, and I'm like, dude, like, you are fucking... This Hurt Business group is a really, really cool group. A very interesting group. You guys can do some really good shit together, and yet you're going to be wasting your fucking time making these guys in the middle fight because, hey, man, we can't have a fucking group that stays together for very long. And you know that Retribution is going to be fucking soon to follow this thing of being broken up. So it really does suck. I do like what they did with Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle is actually an MMA wrestler or a fighter or whatever, and they've been in storylines together for a long, long time. I'm trying to see if there's a shot from tonight. Well, here's Matt Riddle right here, guys. The thing is though, is he comes out to the ring in like fucking flip flops. He has like these sandals, whatever. And like Bobby Lashley, the biggest dude that's in her business, you just saw him a minute ago. Actually, I can show you a picture right here. That's this guy, the guy pointing out his fingers in the air. He literally, while wearing a boot, he fucking steps as hard as he can right onto the exposed foot of a flip flop wearing fucking Matt Riddle. And he's just like, it hurts. He's falling down on the ground. There's all this crazy shit, right? All this commotion, all this pandemonium. And anyways, as the match continues on, or whatever the fuck, and this happens backstage. So like, Bobby Lashley comes out, starts his match, and we have completely just forgot about Matt Riddle. 15 minutes later, at the very end of the match, Matt Riddle comes out, costs him the match, starts a bunch of shit with the Hurt Business, and he's walking just fine. It's like, so you're not selling the fact that he stomped on your fucking foot, dude? What are you doing? And maybe he didn't sell it enough for me. Maybe for you guys, you're like, no, he did sell it, but it's like, you could sell it more, dude. He stepped on your foot as hard as he can. He stomped on it with boots, and he's Bobby Lashley. If he did that shit with his fucking, like, with a pillow between you and him, it would still fucking hurt. It's Bobby Lashley. Big fucking feet. Big farts. Looking over here, though, man. Matt Riddle, I don't know if he's going to be continuing a feud with Bobby Lashley, or is it going to be a thing where they use Matt Riddle to start a fight amongst themselves? I don't know. But Matt Riddle has been doing this comedy thing for a very long time, and I got to tell you, dude, I'm sick of the fucking comedy stick, because it's all just stoner comedy. It's like, whoa, man, I got a really cool idea for an investment, bro. Whoa, dude, I got some fucking cookies, man. I'm like really like, I got the munchies. I hate that joke. It's a stupid joke. It wasn't funny in the fucking early 2000s. It wasn't even funny in the 90s except for, Half-Baked. But sorry, dude, you're not Dave Chappelle, all right? You're not gonna do anything that good. So that was a very frustrating thing for me. Really, it's just a waste of fucking time and waste of talent. You know what I mean? But the biggest thing here, guys, and I'm going to see if I can find a clip for this, because you guys got to see this shit. It was actually pretty cool. Let me see if I can find it over here on my site that I usually use. Let me see. Part 10 of this particular episode. I'm going to show this on screen. Hopefully the fucking volume doesn't freak you guys out. Let me see here. So here we go, dude. This was the main event that I was talking about, the Asuka versus Alexa Bliss main event. Now, they've had a pretty good match at this point, but then for some reason, as Alexa Bliss is wearing one thing, the screen changes really weird, and she switches to this person, like an evil Harley Quinn type. It was really, really cool the way you do it. And Asuka, who's a badass, is like, what the fuck happened? Like, she doesn't know what the hell's going on. She's completely like, what the shit is happening here? And, for those of you who didn't really see it or whatever, like when it first aired, there's a part where it really like shocks the crap out of me. I'm gonna show it really quick on here. She's looking into the camera. Here it is right here. She's looking directly into the camera, and then let me see. I'm gonna let this do its thing. Look at that. It's like, oh, you like my eyes, huh? And then boop, 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 and she fucking switches literally right in front. Really cool editing there. I liked it. And by the way, if you guys are probably like, oh, Nick, that's really easy. You can just stand in front of a camera and have somebody edit it. What's the big deal? No, this is live. Now, granted, they probably filmed her, like the zoom in or whatever, probably filmed that not being live. But the background, those are people watching the show right now. Like, those are live audience members. Like, within the WWE Network Skype thing, or whatever the equivalent is. That means that they found a way to literally take the back layer of everyone's, like, cameras or whatever, and webcams, and literally like edited and spliced it with older footage of Alexa Bliss being in different clothing. This is such a great job from the editing team. This is fucking amazing. This is like live movie shit. I love this so fucking much. It saved the show. Asuka being scared. You know what I mean? Like, for one, like, this is badass the way, Alexa Bliss is all strong looking and everything, but Asuka outside just like, oh, fuck, what the shit's going on here? And she's usually a badass. She's been beating up everybody lately. And now she has a reason to be fucking scared. Like, dude, that is really good storytelling. They really did a great job with that, but it didn't save the show, though. I'm sorry to say, it did not save the show. For me, I gotta tell you, man, this was definitely a 2 out of 5 show. Bad pacing, bad writing. The matches are okay. The matches have always been good with WWE. The last 5 years, they know how important the wrestling fan audience is versus a sports entertainment fan audience. So you're always going to get good matches. And I feel like every match on here was just as good as the Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill show or even the NXT from last week. Not as good as AEW, though. I will say AEW definitely had the best matches. But looking at this, man, I just feel like if your thing is sports entertainment, if your thing is writing, don't put all your fucking fish in one barrel here, because maybe people are not taking the divas seriously right now because they are divas. Remember your audience. Some people don't like watching these girls wrestle, man. They just want to see them be sexy or whatever the fuck. So, like, focus on, all the storylines so we care about everything and we don't have a reason to fucking stop watching the show. I love this. I love what they're doing with Alexa Bliss here. She literally does the back arch turn or whatever. It looks like The Exorcist. Something that the Fiend does. And he used to do that as Bray Wyatt as well. Very creepy thing. Never gets old, to be honest. I thought that was really cool. But, yeah, still, man, it's not enough. It does not save the show. Like I said, I forgot what I gave it last time. I'm going to just, for sure, right now, my fresh fucking mind saying this is a 2 out of 5 for me. Definitely below average, but it could be better. And who knows, man. I mean, next week is a fucking go-home show. Go home, it means to basically be the last show before the big pay-per-view event, so we'll see what happens there. But with that said, guys, that is my fucking rating for this show. I appreciate y'all being here. There's only so many people in here. The chat has not moved really at all, but I do appreciate you being here, Ryan. But that's it, man. Hopefully you guys watch this in post. That's the main thing. I want to get this out here so you guys can watch it in post and actually share it amongst your friends. And also, tell me what you think. Leave some comments. I want to see comments on this fucking video telling me what you guys felt about Alexa Bliss and Asuka, and of course the Randy Orton thing, because my god, that mask was fucking silly. But anyways, guys, with that said, we're getting out of here. You're gonna hear some music. Oh, there it is right there, guys. Thank you for joining me. This was the Ringside Hangout, all by my lonesome. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Impact Wrestling review. Probably going to be a Wednesday show, to be honest. I think the afternoon time zone probably works better for everybody. I'll see you Wednesday afternoon talking about Impact Wrestling. Good night, guys. Stay toasty. Attack goddamn chat.